we are joined by Dr. Sylvain Charlebois, aka the food professor, to speak about a post that he made last week saying that after 25 years and over 1,000 columns, he's been let go by La Presse for comments that he made. So I'm very interested in knowing what those
Oh,
comments are. Mr. Sylvain Charlebois, bonjour.
good day, sir. Great to have you back as always. So you got canceled.
Um, Hold on. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just so we have to go back a month. About a month ago in February, I actually posted a message on Facebook and X expressing my concerns about media coverage. And you guys talk about it a lot on your show, how media can be extremely biased towards the narrative presented by the current government in place. And like I said, I've actually been working with the media for 25 years. I have really a wonderful experience with media, still do to this day. But I have seen a shift in the last 3-4 years, really. And I did mention that the tax credit program that we offer to media to support them, to finance them, may be part of the reason. I mean, let's face it, the tax credit program that we offer. So just for people who may not know, I assume that you guys explain that to your audience, but essentially, if you employ journalists, 70% of that salary is actually tax deductible as an employer. And so that represents a lot of money for employers. And so, of course, there's other tax credit programs for non-for-profits, and La Presse and Le Devoir are non-for-profit organizations. So they get even more money from both the province and the federal government. So, and just to be clear here, and I think we disagree on this one, but that's okay. I don't really see a problem seeing the state supporting media as long as it's not a partisan issue. The problem, it's a partisan issue because we know that the conservatives, if they actually end up in power, they would eliminate the program. And so that's their decision. It's in their platform, and that's fine. But a journalist who knows that would be extremely careful, and it shows. So I just wrote a piece about this on X and Facebook. Not in a column or anything like that, just as a concerned citizen, really. And so a month went by, and last week I got a phone call, actually on my birthday, and it was François Cardinal, the vice president editorial of La Presse, and someone who I respect. I mean, I do think highly of La Presse, still do. But he did mention that he had some issues with the message, and he was not comfortable pursuing our collaboration of 25 years, and we kind of agreed to put it on pause. Personally, I think it was over. I don't think that he wanted to restart the collaboration in a month or two from now. I think they just didn't like the message. What's really strange is that I'm still doing interviews with CTV Global and other outlets. So that's basically why it was not my decision. It was their decision. And I respected that. And that's it. And so I posted, so on Thursday, my column actually appears on Thursdays. And I was actually on a flight back from Calgary to Montreal. And I started to get messages from people, where's your column today? Where's your column? And so after 4 or 5 messages, I thought, well, maybe I should post something on X saying to people, it's over. And so I did. I wrote a piece. I was actually, like I said, I was actually in the air, wrote it. And by the time I actually landed in Montreal, I had literally hundreds of messages of support. It was just unbelievable on Facebook, Instagram, X, emails. It was just I was just overwhelmed. And my twin brother actually posted something expressing his concerns about democracy and freedom of expression and things like that. Because it really, I mean, do I think it's censorship? I don't know if it's censorship, but it really felt like it, really. So that's basically what happened last week. I'm saddened by the whole affair, to be honest, but it is what it is. I moved on. I have a great relationship with Post Media still. I'm still writing columns for them. And I'm still writing columns for other outlets as well. In French, though, I'm what I would call a free agent.
It's, the part that I find the most interesting about this is that you're a liberal. You are not what we would consider a conservative individual.
Oh,
you are not.
For you, I'm liberal on campus. I'm far right.
Far right, yeah.
But that's kind of my...
Nico, I've been listening to you. I mean, it's a matter of perspective. Politics are a matter of perspective.
Absolutely.
But the point I'm trying to make is that imagine how safe it is for guys like me if guys like you are under attack by a nonprofit organization that you've worked with for 25 years and wrote over 1,000 columns.
I forgot to mention.
That's insane.
I forgot to mention because to me it's a trivial issue, but it seems to have become this big deal. I wrote these columns, over 1,000 columns, for free. It was volunteer work. I didn't get a cent from La Presse for 25 years. I did it, and you may think I'm stupid, but the reason why I did it is that I just felt it was part of my job. I actually do get a salary from taxpayers at the university. Yes, and I feel it was important for me to continue to communicate the work that we do with the public through La Presse. So it came out as a surprise for a lot of people. People had no idea I was not paid. And I have no idea what's going on with other columnists. But as a collaborator, I was not paid.
And I can tell you, I can disagree with you all I want. If there's one thing I know is that you're not stupid. I might disagree with you on quite a bit of stuff, but I would never consider you to be a stupid person. But I understand why you did it, because if I was able to write for a newspaper, an outlet that I actually have respect for, and it would allow me to put my words out there more than the reach that I get currently. Even if I wasn't paid, I'd still do it. I fully understand why you did it. I fully understand.
Yeah, no, and when I went to Québécois, Journal de Montréal, for about 6 months, I think it was 8 years ago. They offered me to collaborate with them, and I did. And I was actually paid, but my wife and I just gave that money to Food Banks Quebec. Because we don't really, again, I just feel it's part of my job. It's part of my work. Like the podcast I'm doing with you guys, I'm not paid. I don't do any paid work with media at all because I just feel it's kind of my job as an academic.
And there we thought you liked us. Yeah, awesome.
We thought
you see, it's 7:30 at night. I'm with you guys, and you don't have to pay me to be with you. So I love you guys. Come on.
Yes. That's why you're here. That's why. Yeah, right back at you. Exactly. So that's kind of a slap in the face. Then you're not even paying you, and they still let you go. Jesus, it's tough out there.
Well, listen. I honestly, I would say, I mean, on Thursday, what was really weird, to be honest, is that on Thursday I make the announcement. And halfway through the day, I get an email from La Presse, from François Cardinal. And he said, well, thank you for the call to the nation. And I said to François, what did you expect? I've been writing for you guys for 25 years. People were wondering what was going on. I had to say something. So I don't think they were overly pleased, but again, I fully respect their decision. It's okay. Like we're all going to survive here. I just feel like, to your point, Nico, is that right now there seems to be this push to eliminate some voices, political leaning voices, and I'm, for you guys, I may be on the left or center right, but to be honest, out there in the media, I am seen as a staunch conservative. I'm not a staunch conservative, but I am seen as a staunch conservative.
That is fast. I mean, me too, right? But I consider myself a liberal. I've got many liberal consensus positions, and there's some that I vocally disagree with, and because of that, I'm a far right Nazi. To anyone on the left, most people on this show, which is obviously a right-leaning show, will probably perceive me as at least left of center. But out there to other people on the left, I'm a heretic. I'm heretical. They, if you don't agree with every single thing, you're out of the group. You're out of the tribe.
The cancel culture is quite real, and that culture is being institutionalized.
Absolutely.
And so that really is the travesty of it all, because that's basically what happened here. Institutionalized cancel culture, really. And I just didn't fit in. They disagreed with my point of view, which was not even an official op-ed. Like, if I would have actually been let go because I wrote something inaccurate in my columns or something related to my research, and I call someone an awful name, like I went into name calling or something like that during an interview with media or something like that, maybe I would have understood. But because I criticized a program by the government that could potentially make some newsrooms out there biased, which is something a lot of people think, by the way. I'm not the only one who thinks that. And I know that a lot of people actually do feel that this is an issue that we need to resolve. The CRTC has not resolved this issue. All we did was Trudeau actually just slapped a Band-Aid on the problem. And I do think we need to help media, but we need to do it the right way. Right now, it's just, I honestly, and you're going to be completely discouraged for Nico, but because of the media coverage we see, I don't see how Prime Minister Carney or the Liberals will ever be defeated anytime soon. I don't see it.
Well,
even if I agreed that let's say that election still matters, that prime ministers are not selected, they're elected, you're absolutely right. I don't believe in that, but I'm just saying, if you have places like the CBC that are propaganda arm for the government, they do not talk ill of Carney.
No,
they might do it every now and then, like 1% of the time, when it's just too obvious. You don't have a choice to call them out.
The way they do it will be different, very different.
But the thing is, I just want to go back to something that you said before you make your point. Is my biggest problem with this is that it ain't fair. I don't get support from the government because they don't agree with me. If they agreed with my positions, I would be able to get money from the government. Place like Cult Montreal, that is a supposedly nonprofit organization out of Montreal, massively on the left. They receive money from the government, and they're just regular people that started this. No different than the nonprofit I just started. Yet you'll never see me get grants or money from the government because I don't follow their political line. And that's the truth. Even if I don't like Rebel News, if I don't necessarily, I just don't care for Rebel News, I don't care for Juno. Do they get as much funding as CBC would? You know that they don't. This is the thing, right? If you want to be equal, because that's taxpayers' money, and that's the problem. That's why if you're not going to be equal, cut it off completely. If you cannot give the money to the people that are supposed to get it, no matter what their political views are, don't give it at all, because that's taxpayers' money. That money is as much mine as it is yours.
I'll ask you a simple question. How do you measure equality? How do you measure balance?
How do you measure equality? Same program for everyone. If you're saying that, let's say I just started a nonprofit.
You have as many time as Carney? Is that how it works? Do you see what I'm getting?
No, I'm talking funding.
Here's what I think.
That sounds like an argument to stop the program completely.
But here's my argument about state media, and I do see a big difference between state media and private media. Many countries have state media. Australia has ABC. Britain has BBC, and they're all biased. They're all biased. CBC has been biased forever. It's state media, and to be honest, it is what it is. Where I think things have gotten really wrong, and because people were looking for balance news coverage, is that right now everyone has turned into some sort of mini CBC. That's the problem we have right now. And so when it comes to politics specifically, and because of, I believe that the tax credit program is influencing editorial decisions.
Of course.
That's my main concern.
Point.
I would not defund Radio-Canada. I'm a francophone outside Quebec. I actually care about my kids watching French TV. It may not be good TV, but it's French. That's fine. And I wouldn't defund CBC because I actually do think that there are some shows that are good at CBC. And I know you disagree. That's okay. But I do think that CBC should not be defunded. That's state TV. It's very different.
But there's a difference between being defunded and being ran at 75 to 80% of their budgets. It's taxpayers' money. $1.4 to $1.6 billion a year is given to CBC. This is insane. If you cannot cut it in today's world, you deserve to go extinct. I don't have those.
And that's a perspective.
I don't have that money. But
I respect that. I respect
but
that.
The point is that
I do understand why you think that way, and frankly, it makes sense. It makes sense.
But there's no such thing as equality, right? Things will never be equal, but things should be
for someone
fair.
who expects the CBC to be balanced
that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
But this is not what I'm debating.
I'll
I'm not
never
debating
expect the CBC to do a documentary on Stephen Harper or Brian Mulroney ever.
But the thing is that it's not the fact that they're leftists that bothers me. That part doesn't bother me. We all have biases. Every single one of us have some type of bias. But why is it that I have a nonprofit? I'm going to start a media portion of that nonprofit. Why is it that I can't get government funded the same way as a leftist nonprofit? And I'm not political as per that nonprofit. The whole point of the show is that we're political orphans. No party represents my values in Canada. Zero. I disagree with all of them. I don't agree with them. I disagree with all of them. That's the whole point. So why is it that somebody on the left can get grants, can get money? I can't. And the point is it's very simple, because they don't like what I talk about, because I cannot be controlled the way that they controlled CBC, in the same way that all media that's state funded now that receives money from the government is a subset of CBC, just like you said. Like, you look at the National Post, which is considered right, but you start digging, they get money from the government. And we had one of those columnists on the show, and people in the comment section were just ripping into him for that, because he was calling the hypocrisy. But people are like, yeah, you do know that your salary is, as you mentioned, probably 70% paid by the government. So it does not matter where you look, but there are subjects that you cannot touch. And even
I have a solution for you.
What's that?
Go for it.
Pretty simple. Because right now, the programs rewards editorial, rewards, the supply side of news economics, basically. So we give money to employers. Peter Menzies, I'm not sure if you know who Peter Menzies is. He's a pretty darn well-known person in media. He's retired now, so he speaks his mind. He used to be editor of the Calgary Herald. On the weekend, he called me because he saw my story, and he got it. Like, he totally understood what happened. And he came up with a solution that I think makes total sense. Instead of giving tax credits to employers, why not give tax credit to consumers, to taxpayers directly? So, for example, you, Nico, you decide to to subscribe to whatever newspaper you like. Tax credit up to $1,000. You give power to the people to decide where to throw their money. That's
interesting.
And you reward them instead of rewarding
that
the
newspaper.
System,
that newspaper
you're rewarding
will get
the consumer.
Credit? That, like, the newspaper that you subscribe to will get the tax credit?
No,
Nico will get the
credit
tax
as a consumer.
Interesting.
It's like Harper many years ago. You remember Harper during his reign? He actually decided to give everyone up to $500 in tax credit to go to the gym.
Yes, I remember that. To get your kids into sports or something.
Same
like that.
Same idea.
Yeah.
So we give you $1,000 to spend on media, but you get to pick who to support.
That's interesting.
And
So
that's not taxpayers' money per se.
So
it's
if I
tax
actually,
credit.
if I want to watch and subscribe to Political Orphans,
it's your own money.
I throw my money to Political Orphans.
Interesting.
And you get it back in tax credits. Yeah, you know what? I'd have to sit down and actually look at how that would work, but that's an idea I've never heard before. I don't know that I agree with it without doing research, but all to say, I've never heard that one before. That's an interesting way to put it, because again,
it's not my area of expertise, but it made a whole lot of sense from a guy who actually knows what he's saying.
It basically makes all of media a nonprofit or even a charity, if you will, but because a nonprofit
makes media accountable. It changes the game because it makes media work for his attendance and audience. Right now, it's empowered to push a narrative.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Whereas this way, it incentivizes media properties to actually report on things that will attract consumers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a big problem, and I think that this program needs to be sidelined as quickly as possible, because I do see some damages to our democracy. But right now, I mean, why would you ever, if you're in the government, if you're a liberal, why would you ever change any of that? Like, seriously,
well, you wouldn't.
The other solution is to actually get the conservatives to put on their platform to keep the program, and once elected, you yank it.
So you do like they do and lie. Yeah, that's pretty much what politicians do. Here's a great comment, though, and a great comment because I agree, but how about Crown Corporation pay their own bills? If CBC can't attract ad revenue, change your content. And to me, that just makes sense. If nobody wants to put your content, their ad on your content, on your platform, why would you survive?
Well,
that
they
means
do
your
actually
consumer's not interested.
They do
25%.
Yeah, they do attract ad. They do actually generate revenues, but nowhere near the cost to operate the whole thing.
25%, 25% or so is ad revenue. 75% of their budget is taxpayers' money. Like I was saying earlier, I just didn't mention that the 25% was ad revenue. But we only have you for a few other minutes. But I wanted to go back to your expertise here, because I was talking about this last week. We're talking about the gas prices and how it's actually impacting our extremely high food prices right now.
Yep.
And there's two stories that I'd like you to just give your opinion. First, there was a farmer in Ontario, and I forgot his name, but he was saying that if gas prices remain high, and by gas prices, he also mean diesel, what he uses to operate his farm, that price could go up, food prices could go up 25 to 50% by September. Is there any truth to that at all?
I'm not sure where he was getting at, because fertilizers impact input costs for farmers, and farmers are price takers. They don't set prices. So I don't necessarily understand the rationale. Maybe he was quoted in answering the following question: will gas prices or diesel prices impact food prices? Well, the answer is yes, but it's not because of higher costs for the farmer. So I just want to make it clear here. The farmer is a price taker. So if it costs more for him to produce, he doesn't necessarily get more. So it won't affect us. The problem with the food supply is that the food distribution chain is incredibly energy intensive. And so it doesn't matter what happened to the farmer or fertilizers. It will end up costing more to haul everything, especially cold chain products like meat, dairy, produce, and frozen goods. And so think about it this way. Every 25% more in the barrel of oil over 3 months, that's $150 to $200 more for a family of four at the grocery store. So the benchmark is $55 on January 7th. And now, I mean, today we actually reached 114. Now it's down because Trump decided to wait 2 weeks now. So the oil is way down, but every 25%, that's an extra, basically $200 for you and I to feed your family. Yeah, because trucks, everything, and our surcharges right now. The problem we have right now is a White House forcing oil prices to go up and down, up and down, up and down. Well, if you're a trucking company, what are you going to do? You're going to highball the price of energy and charge as much as possible. So it doesn't matter. Like tonight, actually, oil is down to 90. Doesn't matter. They're going to highball the price and charge you as much as possible.
Yeah, oil's crashed a lot over the last hour and a half. I think they got a deal in Iran
for 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was over $2 here. It crossed the $2 in north of Montreal. So absolutely insane.
So even like
140.
So oil crashed 20%. It doesn't matter. We're still going to pay more for diesel and gas, and that's the unfortunate thing.
Yes.
The other thing I wanted to ask you, we have a couple minutes left. I saw a mention of Toronto, the mayor of Toronto, starting the first government-run grocery store. I saw that you reposted an article about that, and the article was criticizing that that's not the way forward. But what do you think about government-run grocery stores?
Do it for the right reasons. Penalizing the oligarchs and go after the private sector or trying to replace the private sector is not a good reason. And that's what I'm hearing right now from the NDP. A.V. Lewis said the same thing. He wants to start 50 stores run by your taxpayers, my taxes, your taxes across the country, 50 stores. He said that. Why? Because Galen Weston makes too much money. That's not a good reason. Yeah. Running a grocery store is complicated and very costly. Unless Canadians want to overly subsidize a grocery chain, which I don't think is the case.
If that's the whole point, is to lower grocery prices, there's no point if you're losing a shit ton of money running the grocery stores, right? Because they're just going to make that up somewhere else.
Exactement. Exactly. So
when's the last time you saw governments? When's the last time you saw government run anything well? You don't even need to be, to me, I look at this, I'm a conspiracy theorist. So I look at this, I'm like, yeah, the government wants to be able to control what they put on the shelf. Is going to be COVID again, where we're going to lock certain things because, we don't want you to eat that right now. You don't even need to go there. You can remove the conspiracy theory from this and just say, when's the last time you saw the government do anything better than the private sector could do?
So
never happens.
My conservative hat says this is a stupid idea. But when I put on my liberal hat, I say, well, what about the North? Northern Canada, we still see watermelons at $20. We still see cucumbers at $13. Why not start a national grocery store up there? The other good reason, food deserts in downtowns all over the place. Grocers, the private sector is not interested in opening up stores right now in downtowns because there's too much crime, too much drugs, too much homelessness. We all know that. Theft is a problem.
They could
just perhaps the city or Ottawa could play a role for food deserts. So food deserts, the North. Anything else, bad reason.
How about we stop eating food that doesn't come from here? I can't remember the name of the guy, but there was a guy that came out with the theory that you should only eat what is within 50 kilometers of you. If it's not
the 100-mile diet.
Yeah, if your products don't come from close to you, you shouldn't be eating it. And as Rob was about to say, food deserts, because of crime, shouldn't be dealt with by the same people that let the crime happen and keep on not punishing criminals.
Crack down on the crime. Crack down on the crime, right? But they can't do that. That's not an option.
What a crazy idea.
No, that's not.
I remember reading the 100-mile diet book while I was in Saskatchewan, Regina, Saskatchewan. And I was looking around and I said, okay, so let's eat wheat and beef. That's it.
Basically.
I'm okay with it. That's basically what I eat, man. That's basically my diet. I eat a lot of meat, a lot of bread. There you go. Tough diet. Tough diet.
I love it. St. John's, Newfoundland, though. You basically ate codfish and lobster.
Yeah, that's not great.
No.
Well, Sylvain, as always, it's always a pleasure to have you on. I'm kind of not unhappy that you're not producing content for La Presse because I hope somebody that's more conservative picks you up. Now that's what I'm hoping.
I've actually received 4 offers now.
Oh, really? Nice, nice.
Yeah. So
are they paying offers?
Oh, I didn't pursue any of them because I told everyone that I'm pausing for about a month before making any decision. So I'm off to California for some meetings tomorrow. I'm traveling a lot in April, so I'm gonna just do my thing and then come back in May and decide. Yeah.
Nice.
I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, absolutely. Nico, did you say this is Sylvain's 20th time on the show?
No, I was messing around.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that.
I was just no.
I know it's been a lot, but that sounds like
whatever he's smoking, it must be good.
It's meth.
I don't smoke. What the hell, man? I'm not a liberal. I don't smoke. What the hell you're talking about? What the hell are you talking about? No, I do smoke sometimes, but it's mostly because
every time I land in Montreal, I can actually smell the cannabis like everywhere.
You smoke cigars, though, don't you?
Every now and then I'm a big fan of cigars, but I do like weed with extremely high content of CBD because I had a lot of surgeries. I have massive arthritis and a lot of my
pain.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, just for pain.
I take CBD once in a while for my knees. Before going for a run. It works. It works really well.
Really? Like just before?
CBD.
Like the day before or like an hour before?
About an hour before, yeah.
And it works out.
The onset is very quick, so it's great.
Yeah. Interesting.
You should try. There's something else worth trying if you have arthritis. I followed this doctor. I can't remember what his name is, and I finally tried it. But you can take nicotine patches. So what you use to stop smoking, take the patches, cut them out in about 1 or 2 milligram sizes. So literally, the patches are super, super small, and you just stick it where it hurts. So I had reconstructive surgery on my right elbow. For a day that it's hurting, you snap it on it. On my knees, I have massive cartilage problem. I snap them on there, and there's actually a difference. It actually like it's not like you're not on cocaine there and all pain is gone. It's just the pain is extremely, extremely diminished. Very interesting stuff.
That is interesting.
Cool.
Yes.
Well, listen, guys.
Piece of advice.
Yeah. Have a great
always a pleasure.
Trip to California.
Yeah.
We'll
back
have
next
you back
week,
on
and you guys take care and continue your great work. It's great to see you guys.
Thank you, sir.